Hi everyone and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to talk about the weather in English. We will first listen to the model dialogue and afterwards, we will explain all the expressions in detail. How's the weather in London? It's very rainy and cloudy. How's Sydney? Sydney's the opposite. It's very hot and dry. First, to ask someone about the weather, we can say, how's the weather in London? How's the weather in London? To ask about something, we can simply ask, how is something? And in this question, that something is the weather. The noun weather is always used with the particle the, so do keep that in mind. At the end of this question, we use in London to ask about the weather in London. Here are a few more example questions. How's the weather in South Korea? How's the weather in Brazil? How's the weather in Beijing? Okay, so let's practice asking these questions. How's the weather in London? How's the weather in South Korea? How's the weather in Brazil? How's the weather in Beijing? Great job, well done. Let's now learn how we can describe the weather. First, we heard this. It's very rainy and cloudy. It's very rainy and cloudy. First, the pronoun it refers to the weather. And when we describe the general weather condition, we often use words like rainy and cloudy. With certain nouns related to the weather, we can simply add y at the end to form adjectives, which we can use to describe the weather. So rain becomes rainy, cloud becomes cloudy, snow becomes snowy, wind becomes windy, and sun becomes sunny. And as you can see with this last example, sunny, instead of just adding y, we add the final consonant again and then add y. This also happens with fog and foggy. Let's take a look at a few other example sentences. It's very cloudy and snowy. It's quite sunny and windy. It's quite foggy and windy. We can also change the adverb very to quite to express different degree of the adjectives used. Okay, so let's now do a speaking practice of these sentences. It's very rainy and cloudy. It's very cloudy and snowy. It's quite sunny and windy. It's quite foggy and windy. Great job, well done. Next, to return the same question back, person B said, how's Sydney? And because the conversation is about the weather, we can just ask this question to ask about the weather in Sydney. To describe the weather in Sydney, person A said this. Sydney's the opposite. It's very hot and dry. Sydney's the opposite. It's very hot and dry. The word opposite means completely different. So we use it to say that the weather in Sydney is completely different from London, where it's rainy. So after that, the speaker said it's very hot and dry. Hot refers to high weather temperature, and we use the word dry to describe weather condition where it's not raining. In English, there are numerous adjectives we can use to describe the weather, and the most common of these are adjectives to describe the temperature. To describe hot weather, we can use the adjectives hot and warm, and to describe cold weather, we can use the adjectives cold and chilly. However, we can also use other general adjectives to say that the weather is good or bad. So we can say great, lovely, excellent to describe the weather positively, and awful, terrible, and horrible to describe the weather negatively. And these words generally mean very good or very bad. Here are a few more example sentences. London's the opposite, it's very cold. Seoul's the opposite, it's quite warm. Paris is the opposite, it's great. With certain adjectives such as great and excellent, as they already express a strong meaning, we don't use them with the adverb very. So we just say it's great and not it's very great. Okay, so let's now do a speaking practice of these sentences. Sydney's the opposite, it's very hot and dry. London's the opposite, it's very cold. Seoul's the opposite, it's quite warm. Paris is the opposite, it's great. Excellent job, well done. Let's listen to the whole dialogue again. How's the weather in London? It's very rainy and cloudy. How's Sydney? Sydney's the opposite. It's very hot and dry. Okay, so let's now do a speaking practice of this dialogue. We will do 2 speaking practices and all the lines will be on the screen. So when it's your turn, please read the line and participate in the dialogue. Let's begin the practice. How's the weather in London? Sydney's the opposite. It's very hot and dry. It's very rainy and cloudy. How's Sydney? Fantastic effort today. Well done. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned how to describe what the weather is like using adjectives related to the weather. The next lesson is, as always, the speaking drill lesson, and I will see you again in the lesson after that. Bye-bye.